So the new Orc Codex is looking terrifyingly fun, not just in terms of having lots of thematic, fluffy detachments, but in terms of power, it looks really strong, but not overpowered, and each datasheet seems to at least have some usability in at least one of the detachments. I would say apart from maybe 3 or 4 outliers, each detachment looks like it will have a place for basically every other datasheet in the entire codex. You can find some detachment that will allow you to bring a unit that you love, and it will be at least somewhat playable. So I am really excited about that. That is something that we've not seen in a full army for a long time. The external balance looks great. The internal balance looks great. It looks really fun, really thematic, really enjoyable. And I have to say, from what I've seen, I am just absolutely in love with this book. Now, we don't know the full points. The Codex points will, as always, be superseded by the next field manual, which is due, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. So we can't really identify anything that might be too strong or too weak at the moment, because of course that will depend where everything ends up points-wise. But in the meantime, I did want to do a couple of videos of some of the potential strong and powerful combos that we can already see in the book. And I would like to do a video of one for each of the detachments ideally. And so today we're going to have a very quick look at one immediately obvious strong combo, this time from the Green Tide detachment. And it's a combo which is actually surprisingly not using a unit of regular boys, which is what you may expect because they are the big focus of this detachment. No, instead this combo from this detachment is using another really fun thematic orky unit, which is the Meganobz. And now you might immediately be saying, these guys aren't boys, so they don't get the 5-up invuln from the detachment rule, so how can they possibly be part of a super strong combo in this detachment? Well, this detachment has a second part of its main rule, which is that units of 10 or more can reroll saving throws of 1. Now Meganobz, they can't be in units of 10 or more. So again, how does that help them? 6, are you just being an idiot? Well, no, I'm not, because here is how they can start to play into that ability. One of the detachment enhancements, the Raucous Warcaller enhancement, which at the moment costs you 20 points, but what that does is when you give it to a character when they are leading a unit, it always counts for the purposes of the detachment rule and stratagems as having 10 or more models. So now your unit of Meganobz, which normally cap out at 6, will count as being 10 or more, so they will now get those reroll 1s. Now Meganobz are still pretty much the same. They've got a hefty toughness 6 and they've got 3 wounds and they've got a 2-up armor save. You can see where we're going with this. They currently cost you 30 points each, so a full squad of 6 is 180 points, and then you can add a leader like the Warboss in Mega Armor for 80 points, or the Big Mech in Mega Armor, who is currently 85 points. Now the Big Mech is probably where I would go. They both do have merit, but the Big Mech is where I would go for this combo. And what that means is that the Big Mech in Mega Armor with the enhancement and 6 Meganobz is setting you back currently 285 points for 23 toughness 6 wounds, which will be sitting safe with their 2-up armor save and re-rolling 1s on those. The Big Mech can also bring along a custom force field, which means the unit also has a 4-up invuln against shooting attacks, and as per the detachment rules, the rule just specifies saving throws, not armor saving throws, so someone feel free to correct me if I've misread it or I'm wrong, but that should mean that this unit not only gets to reroll the 1s on their 2-up armor save, but also on their 4-up invulns, so they are insanely durable against no or low AP attacks, but even against higher AP firepower, they will be that much more protected by being able to reroll the 1s on their 4-up. But that's not all, and I'm going to say this a couple of times in this video, that's not all, because the Mech can boost them even further, because he still has the special rule of fix that armor up. And what that does is that in your command phase, you can bring 1 bodyguard model back to the unit, so all of that firepower that your opponent spends trying to kill your Meganobz can be negated by you just bringing one back in your command phase. It is honestly so brutal, and means that really getting into melee with these guys and hitting them with some really strong, high AP close combat weapons is pretty much going to be the only way to really deal with them. And that, of course, leaves the enemy unit at risk of being hit back by the Meganobz, and they have a load of strength 12, minus 3 AP, 2 damage, twin-linked kill saws to do the job with. So they are actually quite scary themselves in melee. They're more of a tar pit than a damage dealing unit, I think it's fair to say, but there aren't that many things that want to be hit in melee by 6 Meganobz with all of these twin-linked kill saws going into them. So on a completely base level, against something like a no AP bolter from a Sister of Battle or whatever, you're looking at 3s to hit, 5s to wound, a 2-up save, rerolling 1s. So a single bolter shot will do something like 0.0061 wounds to a Meganobz. Essentially, it will take around 500 bolter shots to take out a single Meganobz with this setup, which, let's be honest, is frankly ridiculous. But even something better suited to taking them out, something like a melter gun in melter range, so it will be auto-killing with the guaranteed minimum 3 damage, that's still going to be hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, pushing you to your 4-up invuln, rerolling 1s thanks to the mech, and that means it's still going to take 5 melter shots to guarantee you are getting through those saves and kill 1 Meganobz. So it's still really quite a big ask. It still makes this unit unbelievably strong, and of course in this situation requires your opponent to be really close to get that guaranteed 3 damage, so they're going to be at risk of being charged by the rest of your squad. However, it doesn't end there, because the combo can get even better. Meganobz's special rule of having devastating wounds in the war has now changed. It's now much more defensive focused, and what it does is in the war, it grants them a 4-up feel no pain. So yes, they are getting the 5-up invuln as well. That's somewhat wasted because at range obviously they're going to have the 4-up from the mech, but in melee it is actually going to be quite a big boost as well. It means you are going to have your 5-up invuln rerolling 1s rather than relying on your armor save if you get hit by some really high AP melee attacks. It's going to take you from a 33% chance of saving to just over 38% with that reroll. So it is a reasonable 5% more tankiness. It's not amazing, but having the war is obviously going to help their durability quite significantly. But getting that feel no pain on top of that, it basically doubles your survivability against a lot of things. Against those aforementioned bolters, you are now going to just flat out require about 1,000 bolter shots to kill a single Meganobz, which is just unbelievably ridiculous. But even against multi-damage weaponry, if your opponent goes that route, it gives you a much better chance of surviving even on just 1 wound, thanks to the way that Feel No Pain works. If those melter shots, to go back to the melter example, if they roll a 1 on their damage and they're in melter range, it's still going to be 3 damage onto your Meganobz, but whilst outside the war that would kill you, now that you've got that 4-up Feel No Pain, you get to make 3 attempts at saving because each damage is saved individually. So even if you roll 2 1s, but then you roll 1 4+, you've still got a Meganobz alive. Yes, it's on 1 wound, but it gives you much better chance of keeping models and the whole unit alive thanks to that Feel No Pain. It really is a huge boost to their durability in the war, and basically means that shooting ranged weaponry at them, especially in the war, is going to be almost a complete waste of time unless it has got some really good AP, it's really high strength, and it is very good multi-damage. So not just 3, but maybe D6 plus 2 or something that can reliably get enough damage onto them so that they can't rely even on that 4-up Feel No Pain to save all of them. Unfortunately, they don't get much more than that in terms of the stratagem front, because the stratagems are locked to keyword boys, so there's no additional help there. But just from a sheer durability perspective, having these guys, a full squad, able to walk up the board, weather almost any amount of firepower, is just so strong. Or having them in a battle wagon to make sure they can get up the board and get into combat with all of them alive, and then just rely on that Warg invuln to keep them alive in melee combat when their armor gets hit by some really high AP weaponry, as well as the mech bringing one back in each of your command phases, means that this unit is relatively cheap for what is possibly one of the most disgustingly resilient, not to mention reasonably good damage output wise, units in this entire codex. Now, Meganobz do have a lot of utility elsewhere in other detachments. The Dread Mob and the Bully Boys are both very, very good for them too. They can have their damage output boost massively in the Dread Mob, or their durability buffed with 2 turns of the War in Bully Boys to get you that 4-up Feel No Pain for even longer. But if you wanted to add something durable and capable of holding a midfield objective all game long in your Green Tide list, this unit looks incredibly cheap, supremely tanky, and I think it will also fit in really well because I know it's not a Green Tide of boys, but they are still orc boys. Like, they are still orcs. They're going to fit in. It is more infantry in a very infantry-focused detachment, so I think they will fit in really, really well and look absolutely fine amongst the tide of green. And then they just bring the added bonus, of course, of potentially making your opponent tear their hair out in frustration when they shoot their entire army at this unit, only to kill a couple of models before you just bring one back next turn. So that is our first super fun, quite powerful combo in the new Orc Codex. We will look at some of the others in some other videos over the next few days, but I would love to know what you make of this combo. Do you think you will be trying it out in the Green Tide, or are Meganobz still better in, say, the Bully Boys or the Dread Mob detachments? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.